all of your air passages. What are the myths and what are the realities of air pollution's impact on our bodies? How can we purify the air in our homes? And what simple changes can make a huge difference? We thought we'd get the experts in on this. So on the show, we're going to show you how to help your stomach, your body, and also help your breathing tracts. Here's the TBC guide to tackling air pollution's effect on our health. Joining us to tell us about this, we have two experts. We'll have Dr. Tarandeep, who we'll go to in a second. But first, joining us to provide expert guidance is Ryan Fernando. He's a medical and sports nutritionist to the stars. He's also the founder of Qua Nutrition. We'll go over to him to understand more. Ryan, thank you so much for taking out time to join us here on the show this morning. Ryan, as AQI goes up in cities across the country, it's a Delhi, Mumbai, Bangalore phenomenon right now. Tell us, should our relationship with food change as well?
So, the lungs, which is getting affected with the air pollution, they're one of the major organs in detoxification in the body. And for me, for years, I've been working with your Olympic level athletes and how we can improve athletic performance, which means can I get better oxygen into the body? So the lungs is a key organ that can enhance performance, but in this case, the lungs is also an organ that's getting damaged. Now, if you Google up turnover rate of cells in the human body, we turn over the epithelial cells in the lungs at 1% per day, and a certain number of other lung cells every 7 to 10 days. So what's happening is that this pollution is literally going in and choking up your lung cells. So now what's the solution to the problem? The human body has inbuilt protection mechanisms, otherwise everyone would be popping and falling dead. The protection mechanism is your body's ability to have antioxidants production. So if you remember in school, oxidation means rusting. So this pollution will create rusting in your lungs. You need antioxidants, and body has its own, let's say, municipality cleaning system. But unfortunately, for those who are weaker, older, children, the production of antioxidants is a little bit low, and hence we tend to get bronchitis or any lung disorders. So there is a lot, in my opinion, which people have not talked about in the food department, which is foods you should be taking to protect your lungs and foods you should be avoiding because that would further aggravate the already incoming pollution.
Right. I love the analogy of body's own municipality to clean up the lungs and clean up the system this time of the year. So what are these antioxidant foods that one can look at?
So number one is we know that oxidation happens with high sugar and high fat foods. So during the season of pollution, it's also Shadi ka season across North India. A lot of people are doing high amounts of fried foods as well as sweets. So I would say if you're a person whose lungs are getting congested, you're getting affected, avoid the high sugar and high fat foods. The second thing to do is to avoid foods that will produce more mucus in your lungs. So foods, if you are allergic to dairy, which is milk or curd, or banana, a lot of people may find mucus production higher with such foods. Personally, if I eat peanuts, I get more mucus production. So for those of you who are sensitive out there, I would recommend a food intolerance blood test report. Why? Because you can't control the pollution, but you can definitely control your nutrition or your diet or your choice of foods. So in such a case scenario, if you have a severity of lung disability, then I would suggest do the food intolerance test to know which foods you should not be eating, and there's no one size that fits all. So Ryan Fernando cannot tell you, oh, don't eat peanuts or don't have milk. For one child, it might be milk, and for another grandparent, it might be a banana. So figure out what causes more mucus and try and avoid those foods.
Okay, the same way, are there foods that our audiences can just assume are good for lung health, just overall?
Wonderful. Now, we are on the breakfast show, and basically research has shown there is one antioxidant called N-acetylcysteine. We use this in Olympic sports to open up the lungs, which means enhance the breath rate and oxygen uptake. Now, N-acetylcysteine can be found in black tea. That is black tea without sugar, black tea without milk. So just now my son is having a cough and I asked my housekeeping to make him a cup of black tea. And he's like, I don't like the black tea. And I was like, but the black tea will help open up your lungs. It's a mucolytic, meaning it will break down the mucus. So that's one natural way. Dark chocolate, not the chocolate with lots of sugar in it, but 70 to 90% dark chocolate has high levels of polyphenols. So there's a whole range of all of these guys, and one of the most powerful to protect your body against this constant damage, because people don't understand that as the pollution is beating you up, like I see a lot of people training for marathons and going exercising out. In fact, I would advise people not to train during this period. Train at home,
Yeah.
in your house. No, treadmill running is not good. Cycle inside the house is not good. It's actually good because your house has a lower AQI with your air filters on. Trying to go out early morning, I'm seeing clients who do get lung damage. So in the food department, I make a chocolate milkshake or hot chocolate, or a beverage. And if you want to take it a little bit further, you can do chocolate pancakes, chocolate dosa, but the dark chocolate. And then flax seeds have the highest polyphenol content, which is very good for your lungs. So I think in Hindi it's called alsi. So if you can have a teaspoon of crushed flax seeds once a day, that should also help you. Without a doubt, all the vitamin C rich foods, which would include amla, citrus foods, guava, if they agree with you, this immune boosting from vitamin C is a thumbs up.
Right. So very sort of delightful and yummy sort of advice on lung health is coming in. Quite nice to see that. But if you were to look at it on the whole, our eating habits, is there a sort of anti-pollution diet that one can look at, some food habits to inculcate during this time of the year when the air gets bad?
A few things that we do. We tend to reduce the carbohydrates during this period because of the higher diabetic predisposition for older people, which the sugar doesn't allow you to fight infections. Now, this infection is not so much a bacterial infection or a viral infection in your lungs, but it's more like a foreign body coming in, but the body still says, hey, this is an infection. And if I've got high sugar levels, high carbohydrate diet, I tend to be more sluggish in fighting these infections. So blanket rule would be eat more vegetables, eat foods that have higher protein and lesser carbohydrate. This is one viewpoint that I give to all the elderly people. The second is to try and eat earlier rather than later. So have your last meal by 7 o'clock in the evening. So it gives your body enough of time to digest, because when you go to sleep, there's something called as the sine wave sleep, which is the deep sleep which releases stem cells. So the longer sleep that you get and the gap of 3 hours before you go to sleep allows you to secrete higher ratio of stem cells. Who are stem cells? Stem cells are like these beauty cells which go in and repair your body. So if your lungs were damaged with external air pollution during the day, I'm thinking deeper sleep will release sine wave for older, deeper sleep will be caused in the sine wave part, and stem cells would be released, and that stem cell would help the older people. And one tip that I give all my elderly clients who are there in North India is walnut and chamomile tea at night. So melatonin, which is found in walnut naturally, and chamomile's boosted deep sleep help the body's other detox system, which is the kidneys, work better. And therefore, I prescribe that to the older people, because if your lungs are not detoxing well because they've been given a thappad or a slap or a damage because of this pollution that you can't control, well, you can at least make your kidneys work a little bit better. And for your liver, beetroot, chukandar, has got something called betaine in it, which is the most powerful antioxidant for the care of the liver. So the liver will be like, hey, bhai, liver, lungs, you're not doing your job, don't worry, I'll take care of all of the load. So for elderly people, Cooked beetroot is a great option to add in your diet, in addition to that Himalayan Tartary buckwheat, which is amazing.
These are such learning rich answers. Can you tell us, we've talked a little bit right now about the elderly. What about those who are just generally sensitive in this season? So those who, for example, are sensitive to allergies, that gets triggered, they have wheezing, for example. What would your suggestion be to them?
Number one is those who have allergies and wheezings. Mom, stop giving your kids turmeric doodh, haldi doodh. I don't think that actually is helping. You may want to give a beverage, a warm water beverage, a chocolate beverage minus the milk. I know India is going to put a gun to my head saying that all these generations have had milk all the while, but I do genuinely believe it increases the mucus production. So if you have not done the food intolerance blood test, then please do it, because you're unnecessarily giving your child that haldi doodh, which could be detrimental to the lungs recovery. The other part is that the children need to wear the mask. I've worked with many doctors who send their clients to me, and they categorically tell me that the N95 mask is the most perfect mask to prevent
Yes.
99% of the pollution, I think, from going inside. So, who's the culprit over here? The culprit is airborne. We all have to breathe. So those who have sensitive, delicate, darling stomach, sorry, delicate, darling lungs, well, those are the people who could take the prevention. You say, get a lot of people who get delicate, darling stomachs. I keep telling them, don't eat this, don't eat that. But with air, I can't tell people, don't breathe. So you wear the mask, and that's really, really important. And because it's a cold season, you could improve your dry fruits. The black kismis has got high resveratrol, another beautiful antioxidant for the lungs. You've got pistachios, which got the highest arginine content. Arginine is an amino acid that does vasodilation, which means it dilates the blood vessels, which means there will be better blood circulation in the lungs. And then we've got my favorite, which is walnuts, which help in deeper sleep, and the omega 3. Research is showing that omega 3 is one of the best nutraceutical agents in lung cancer. Now, we're not talking about lung cancer, but if lungs are damaged, omega 3 diets high in omega 3 are really beneficial. So, our vegetarian sources of omega 3 is your flaxseed, methi, and your walnuts. We could also use chia seeds.
Sure. So you've upset the mothers by saying no turmeric milk, but at least you got the dry fruits in. This is the season for that. So that's some conventional wisdom coming handy. Lastly, Ryan, tell us, what about supplements? You mentioned omega-3 as well. A lot of people are popping omega-3 supplements. Is that a good thing to do this time of the year?
Whilst I do generally give public advice on my Instagram profile and on my podcast, I always tell people, please consult your medical physician, family doctor, your doctor neighbor who's got a medical degree, or go to your medical dietitian or nutritionist. Having said this, there are a lot of nutritional supplements that can help people protect their lungs. My number one is get a blood test and check your vitamin D levels. Research in Japanese schools have showed that children's coughs and colds reduce in the winter season on vitamin D supplementation as compared to vitamin C supplementation. So my vitamin D is the bar of all the supplements to be had, only under the advice of your doctor. And then comes vitamin C. Try and take vitamin C naturally from your oranges, santras, your amla, guava, those sort of things. The other two supplements that are big in my dictionary will obviously be N-acetylcysteine, which I talked about, which is found in black tea and sunflower seeds and various other foods. It's found in small quantities. The dosage again is dependent on your nutritionist, who's a medical expert, or your doctor who knows about nutrition and would give you an acetylcysteine. We use them in coughs and colds to clear up the mucus. So those who have a problem should be taking it, not those who don't have a problem should be taking it. And then there are antioxidants that can be taken, like selenium and vitamin E. So vitamin E, the best source in my opinion is almonds, so badams, please have 5-10 badams if you're not overweight. If you're overweight, you could take a nutritional supplement of a vitamin E. Please note, vitamin E in nature comes in 8 forms. And in a supplement, it comes only in 1 form. So you're better off taking vitamin E from foods which come in nature. So I'm all about first foods, then supplements. And you only take a supplement when you've taken all the foods correctly. And by doing this, you give your body a fighting chance to absorb all nature's natural nutrition.
Wow, there's been so much to take away. Black tea, black tea, black tea. That was one of the answers that really stayed with us. Ryan, thank you for joining us here on the show. Okay, let's take you now from what you can eat to what you can do with your bodies. If you're following along at home, we'd urge you during the next segment to follow along. Dr. Tarandeep Kaur is with us. She's an aerial yoga trainer, a yoga expert. Dr. Tarandeep, thank you for joining us on the show early in the morning. Doctor, tell us first, if our audiences are watching at home, what can we do first just to open up our bodies?
Sure, we'll do some Sukshma Vyayam exercises so that we can open up our body. So starting with Tadasana, stretch both the hands above your head and on your toes and start walking. You can do 3 to 5 rounds of Tadasana. It's also very good for children to increase their height and to increase the length of your spine. Now we'll do something for our wrist. So rotate your wrist clockwise and anti-clockwise. As in yoga, wrists play an important role, so it's very important to use the wrists. And now we are going to open and close our fists for some movement of the fingers. And now we are going to do some exercises for our shoulders to open up the shoulders. So rotate them completely. Make sure both your shoulder girdles are touching each other. And open up your chest. Inhale as you take the shoulders up. Exhale as you bring them down. And anti-clockwise, same thing. You can do 10 rounds of them each side. And now some exercises to flap your arms for the movement of the forearms. Inhale as you take the arms up, exhale as you take them down. And now we are quickly going to do some stretching for the sides. So keep your left hand on the other side of your waist and take the arm down. Repeat it on the other side. Inhale as you go up, exhale as you come down. Yeah, these are the few stretching exercises you can do to open up your upper body.
All right, Dr. Kaur, then, a lot of questions actually come around how to breathe right, exercise right, specifically for taking care of your lungs that are under so much stress this time of the year because they're having to do so much more filtering, right? Yes. So are there specific breathing exercises that one can do specifically to tackle air pollution?
Definitely. Pranayam is meant to strengthen your lungs, to improve your lung capacity, and during these times when the pollution is so high, it is very helpful. So it is very important to do pranayam on a regular basis.
Can we come join you and do it with
If you could show us some then. Yeah.
Sure. Okay.
All right.
So the first pranayam that we are going to do is the Bhastrika pranayam. So Bhastrika pranayam is also called as bellows breath, and in this we do active exhalation and active inhalation. So let's start. So for Bhastrika pranayam, we keep both the elbows close to our body, hands in a fist, and as we inhale we take our arms up, and as we exhale we bring the elbows close to our bodies. So this way we are pushing the toxins out of our lungs.
Oh.
So let's start. So this helps in respiratory disorders like asthma, bronchitis. It also helps to cleanse your lungs, bringing out all the toxins and clears the congestion.
Are there any people who shouldn't be doing this one?
Yes, it has few contraindications. So people with hypertension and cardiovascular disorders shouldn't be doing it, as well as pregnant women and menstruating women.
Okay, okay.
So moving on to our next pranayam that we are going to do, it is called as Kapalbhati. So Kapalbhati comes from the word Kapala means skull and Bhati means shining. That is why it is
This is the shining forehead one, huh? The
yeah,
glowing
yes,
skin.
yeah.
Correct? Okay, okay.
Absolutely. So this also helps in weight loss, and since it strengthens your diaphragmatic muscle, so it is very good for weight loss also, as it increases your metabolic rate. So let's start. In this, the difference is from Bhastrika that in this we only do active exhalation. Inhalation happens on its own, so it's passive inhalation. So for this, hands in Gyan Mudra, the tip of your thumb touching the tip of your index finger, spine straight, chest expanded, close your eyes.
Can you tell us what you're doing though, so we can...
Yeah. So you are expanding your diaphragm.
Okay.
So look at it. It's active exhalation and inhalation is very passive.
Wow. Okay.
So for beginners, you can do 10 to 15 breaths and 2 to 3 rounds of this. And as you get used to it, you can increase your breaths and the duration. So this is also very good for releasing all the toxins out of your body. It also helps to increase your focus, concentration. So you can do 2 to 3 rounds of this exercise. Now moving on to our next pranayam, which is the Anulom Vilom pranayam, which is also called as the alternate nostril breathing. Yes. So for this, we place the index finger and the middle finger on your third eye center in between the eyebrows. We close the right nostril with the thumb and we inhale through the left nostril. Then we close the left nostril with the ring finger and exhale through the right nostril. Then we close the right nostril. So we keep alternating our breaths.
Can I ask you, doctor,
Yeah.
this season a lot of us have clogged noses though.
Yeah.
So if you aren't able to breathe then from one side, what happens?
So this again, it is clearing all your sinuses of all the phlegm. So however deeper your breath could be, so you know it's always like one nostril you breathe better than the other. This is for clearing all the sinuses and the respiratory tract, and again increasing your lung capacity. Again, this is very good for patients suffering from BP and cardiovascular disorders and respiratory disorders like asthma, bronchitis. It also helps to balance all your doshas, the vata, kapha and pitta. So it has multiple benefits.
How long do we do this for?
So you can do 10 to 15 breaths and 2 to 3 rounds of this. Now coming to last but not the least, it is definitely a very calming pranayam which is called as the Brahmari pranayam. It is also called as humming bee breathing. So for this pranayam, we place the index finger above our eyebrows. The middle finger gently placed on the eyes, not pressing it too hard, and the other 2 fingers above and below our mouth, and close the ear with the thumb.
This is a little complex. Yes.
So we take a deep breath, inhale and exhale, and produce a deep humming sound. Spine straight, chest expanded. So this helps to calm your nervous system. It is also very helpful for people suffering from stress, anxiety and anger, and especially for people who are unable to sleep at night. So if you do this pranayam before you go to bed, it is really, really helpful.
Wow, thank you for all 4 tips. Sonal was also watching in Mumbai, following along. Sonal, what did you think?
Yeah. No, this is lovely, and also just to sort of earmark for everybody, don't think that air pollution today is a problem only for Delhi NCR. It's in major metros across the country, so all of us need to be practicing this. So how about we take a break? All of you can go back to our YouTube recording, watch this entire session with Dr. Kaur again, and we'll come back on the other side with more updates. This time, when we take a break, on the other side, we bring you how to learn Kannada in an auto rickshaw style, where language is no longer a barrier, but you get to learn all of it in just 2 minutes. That's on the other side. Meanwhile, the asanas that we did, do try and practice those.
Well, I want to thank you all very much. This is great. These are our friends. We have thousands of friends on this incredible movement. This was a movement like nobody's ever seen before. And frankly, this was, I believe, the greatest political movement of all time. There's never been anything like this in this country, and maybe beyond. And now it's going to reach a new level of importance because we're going to help our country heal. We're going to help our country heal. We have a country that needs help, and it needs help very badly. We're going to fix our borders. We're going to fix everything about our country. And we made history for a reason tonight, and the reason is going to be just that. We overcame obstacles that nobody thought possible, and it is now clear that we've achieved the most incredible political thing. Look what happened. Is this crazy? But it's a political victory that our country has never seen before, nothing like this. I want to thank the American people for the extraordinary honor of being elected your 47th president and your 45th president. And every citizen, I will fight for you, for your family, and your future. Every single day, I will be fighting for you, and with every breath in my body, I will not rest until we have delivered the strong, safe, and prosperous America that our children deserve and that you deserve. This will truly be the golden age of America. That's what we have to have. This is a magnificent victory for the American people that will allow us to make America great again. And in addition to having won the battleground states of North Carolina, I love these places, Georgia, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin, we are now winning in Michigan, Arizona, Nevada, and Alaska, which would result in us carrying at least 315 electoral votes, but that
Welcome back to the Breakfast Club. Before the break, we were looking at things that give you a little bit of mental peace. Now let's take you to the thing that had the entire world tense, the US elections and who would win. Yesterday, former US President Republican Donald Trump made a comeback as he won a second term in office, defeating Vice President Kamala Harris, who, remember, is the Democrat nominee to become the 47th President of the United States. The world has been watching the results, as we said, pour in with bated breath. And finally, we have an answer.
Yeah, and just a few hours ago, we've actually heard from Kamala Harris as well. She conceded defeat. Remember, they had cancelled their Democratic Party announcement, but she went to a school to speak with specifically young voters, asking them not to lose hope and keep up the fight. Here's an excerpt.
The fight for our freedom will take hard work. But like I always say, we like hard work. To the young people who are watching, it is okay to feel sad and disappointed. But please know it's going to be okay. On the campaign, I would often say, when we fight, we win. But here's the thing. Sometimes the fight takes a while. That doesn't mean we won't win. The important thing is don't ever give up. Don't ever give up. Don't ever stop trying to make the world a better place.
All right, and you've been watching all that coverage. You can continue to do that on CNN News 18. Our colleague Akansha is in the US. She joins us from Times Square now, where she's talking about the mood she observed post the results in a traditionally democratic state.
Donald Trump has emerged as the victor of the US presidential election of 2024. It's been a stunning victory, one that was not even predicted in the polls. Why do we say so? Because he's managed to sweep the key battleground states, not to forget the fact that he's managed to break through the blue wall, which was Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, and he's in fact performed phenomenally in all the key battleground states. At the same time, what's been extremely disappointing for the Democrats is that Kamala Harris has not been able to perform as was expected during the entire campaign, despite the fact that she went door-to-door campaigning over 100,000 homes. And all of that kept aside, Donald Trump and Kamala Harris both contrasted in their election campaigning style as well. While Donald Trump was in fact touted to be this larger-than-life figure, making a spectacle out of his rallies, also being condemned for the kind of histrionics and the vitriolic rhetoric that came out of his campaigns. One that we also saw at the Madison Square Gardens rally, where in fact Puerto Ricans were equated with garbage. Democrats, of course, cashed in on that narrative and attacked the Republicans. On the other hand, you had Kamala Harris, who said that her message stood for everything that the American democracy stood for, and that was democracy and freedom. She, of course, advocated reproductive freedom. Now, with the kind of sweeping majority with which Donald Trump has arrived upon this mandate, everybody is questioning, have women voters and the undecided voters also voted for Donald Trump? Because the majority that he's received, let's not forget that Donald Trump has also managed to win the popular vote, something that he did not manage to do in the year 2016. Because it was in 2016 that Hillary Clinton won the popular vote, but Donald Trump shot to presidency only because of making it past the Electoral College. Everybody is wondering what a Donald Trump presidency 2.0 is going to be looking like, because remember, Donald Trump is somebody who's known to prioritize the American voter. He's known to talk about America first. He's known to propagate protectionist policies. And so it would be safe to say that Donald Trump has arrived upon this victory solely based on the promise of the economy, that he will generate more employment, that he will address the cost of living crisis, and that he will bring back the money of the taxpayer, which the American voter feels is funding the wars, not just in Middle East, but also in Ukraine. You usually don't bump into a Trump supporter in New York City, but today, after his victory, I have in fact managed to find someone at Trump Tower who's come to celebrate Donald Trump's victory with me. Hi, what's your name?
Christine Randall.
Why did you vote for Donald Trump? That too, when you are a New Yorker, which is, as far as New York is concerned, we all know it's a traditional Democratic stronghold.
You know, you can't put everybody in a label, and guess what? There's a lot of there's a lot of Trump support here in New York.
Why so? Why do they choose to vote for Donald Trump?
Because we believe that he's going to make America great again, and we believe that he's going to protect all of us.
You're a woman, and Kamala Harris, in fact, talked about protecting reproductive rights of women. Was that a factor you ever considered?
Absolutely not. Donald Trump is not taking any rights away from anybody except illegal immigrants and getting them out.
All right, we're still keeping an eye on all the follow-up taking place in the US right here on the channel. But we're going to head into a quick break. On the other side of the break, we promised you Auto Canada. The other thing we're bringing you, still on the road, we're going to be stretching the benchmark with a luxury on wheels review. Mercedes-Benz E200 LWB tested. It's the E-Class long wheelbase. It's going to be taking center stage. Both those stories after the break.
Well, I want to thank you all very much. This is great. These are our friends. We have thousands of friends on this incredible movement. This was a movement like nobody's ever seen before. And frankly, this was, I believe, the greatest political movement of all time. There's never been anything like this in this country, and maybe beyond. And now it's going to reach a new level of importance because we're going to help our country heal. We're going to help our country heal. We have a country that needs help, and it needs help very badly. We're going to fix our borders. We're going to fix everything about our country. And we made history for a reason tonight, and the reason is going to be just that. We overcame obstacles that nobody thought possible, and it is now clear that we've achieved the most incredible political thing. Look what happened. Is this crazy? But it's a political victory that our country has never seen before, nothing like this. I want to thank the American people for the extraordinary honor of being elected your 47th president and your 45th president. And every citizen, I will fight for you, for your family, and your future.
Welcome back. Do you know Canada? What if we told you that a regular auto drive in a city could actually be your tutor? Well, amidst raging language wars, one person's simple yet revolutionary idea of bridging the cultural divide is taking social media by storm. So let's introduce you to Azu Sultan. He's Bengaluru's very own auto Kannadiga who's taken it upon himself to teach Kannada to non-locals.
So imagine hopping into an auto only to find a leaflet within that car. And as you sit inside the auto, that leaflet reads, Learn Kannada with Auto Kannadiga. There's a QR code into, and it's a gateway to pronunciation and conversations. There are no demands, there are no debates, just a very gentle nudge towards inclusivity. But what sparked this initiative? What's the story behind it? And how is it spreading beyond just autos? We spoke to Azu Sultan to find out more. Take a look.
Language wars, cultural divides, But one auto driver's initiative is driving change.
Learn Kannada with Auto Kannadiga anta.
Meet Azzu Sultan, also known as Auto Kannadiga, who's putting the brakes on language barrier one ride at a time.
Sir, Indiranagar aate kya? Indiranagar sir. Bani, hatti kutkolli. Kannada gottilla. Sir, Kannada alla adu. Kannada.
Just week before Kannada Rajyotsav, Sultan has won the internet for a simple, effective and polite method to teach Kannada to immigrants and non-Kannadigas. With basic conversational sentences in Kannada, typed out in English and a QR code leading to pronunciation guides. Sultan's approach is simple yet effective.
Ek song lagata. Suno, Kannada kalitira.
700 autos and 1,000 cabs now carry his leaflets, sparking a movement to teach Kannada to non-locals. Sultan's message is clear. Instead of demanding others learn the language, come forward and teach them. Every small effort counts and his initiative is a proof.
ಈ ಆಟೋ ಕನ್ನಡಿಗ ಇನಿಷಿಯೇಟಿವ್ ಎಷ್ಟು ವರ್ಷದಿಂದ ಶುರು ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ?
ಇದು 2 ತಿಂಗಳಾಯಿತು ಸರ್. ಅಂದರೆ ಲರ್ನ್ ಕನ್ನಡ ವಿತ್ ಆಟೋ ಕನ್ನಡಿಗ. ಇದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಮುಂಚೆಯಿಂದ ನಾನು ಆಟೋ ಕನ್ನಡಿಗ ಅಂತಲೇ ವ್ಲಾಗು ಅದು ಇದು ಮಾಡ್ತಾಯಿದ್ದೆ. ಬಟ್ 2 ತಿಂಗಳಿಂದ ನಿಮಗೂ ಗೊತ್ತು ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಘಟನೆಗಳಾದವು. ಆಟೋ ಚಾಲಕರ ಮೇಲೆ ತುಂಬ ನೆಗೆಟಿವ್ ಪರಿಣಾಮ ತೋರಿಸಿದ್ರು. ಸೊ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಅದನ್ನು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಮಾಡೋಣ ಅಂತ ಲರ್ನ್ ಕನ್ನಡ ವಿತ್ ಆಟೋ ಕನ್ನಡಿಗ ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ತೊಗೊಂಡು ಬಂದೆ. ಅದು ಪರಭಾಷಿಕರಿಗೆ ಅಂದರೆ ನಾನ್ ಕನ್ನಡಿಗಾಸ್ಗೆ ಕನ್ನಡ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗೋ ಹಾಗೆ ಅವರು ಕೂಡ ಮಾತಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಇದು ಟ್ರೈ ಮಾಡೋ ರೀತಿ ಒಂದು ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟನ್ನ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದು ಸರ್.
So you see, as you can see right here, there's several boards here showing basic Kannada language. The basic Kannada phrases and sentences that can be used. You can see a QR code in place here to scan and go and learn the pronunciation of the language. It clearly mentions some basic Kannada lines that commuters can learn. Non-Kannadigas can use this to communicate easily with the auto rickshaw drivers. This can avoid any such confusions and any such skirmishes and basically break any possibility of a conflict. Some of these basic phrases have been easily mentioned in the English language as well, and of course you can scan the QR code to learn the exact pronunciation, and this definitely can help many of the commuters to pick up the basics of the language. So sir, nimge idea ellinda bantu ee initiative ee tara basic kannada sentences na nanu bereyavrige helkodbeku horginavರಿಗೆ helkodbeku anta?
ಅಂದರೆ ಪ್ಯಾಸೆಂಜರ್ ಜೊತೆ ನಾನು ಆಲ್ವೇಸ್ ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಕೇಷನ್ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತೀನಿ. ಆವಾಗ ನಾನು ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತೀನಿ, ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಕನ್ನಡ ಕಲಿಯೋಕ್ಕೆ ಆಸೆ ಇಲ್ವಾ? ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ರು ಕನ್ನಡ ಕಲಿಬೇಕು, ಆದರೆ ನಮಗೆ ಅವ್ರಿಗಿರುವಂಥ ವರ್ಕ್ ಪ್ರೆಷರಲ್ಲಿ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ನಾನು ಅದೇ ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡಿದೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಪ್ಯಾಸೆಂಜರ್ನ ಡ್ರಾಪ್ ಮಾಡಿ 2 ಕಿಲೋಮೀಟ್ರ್ ಬಾಡಿಗೆ ಇದೆ, ಒಂದು 10 ಮಿನಿಟ್ಸ್ ದಾರಿ, ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು 2 ನಿಮಿಷದಲ್ಲಿ ಆರಾಮಾಗಿ ಕಲಿಯೋಂಥ ಪದಗಳನ್ನು ನಾನು ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಡ್ಬೋದು ಅಂತ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಕೇಳಿದಾಗ ಒಂದು ಸ್ಯಾಂಪಲ್ಲು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೆ. ಆ ಸ್ಯಾಂಪಲ್ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಬ್ಬ ಪ್ಯಾಸೆಂಜರ್ಗೂ ನಾನು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೆ, ಈ ರೀತಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಾಯಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಏನು ಅನಿಸುತ್ತೆ? ನಾನು ಕಲಿಯೋಕ್ಕೆ ಆಸೆ, ಈ ರೀತಿ ಇದ್ದರೆ ಆರಾಮಾಗಿ ಕಲಿಬೋದು ಅಂತ ತುಂಬ ಪ್ಯಾಸೆಂಜರ್ ಅಪ್ರಿಷಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು. ಅದನ್ನೇ ನಾನು ಏನು ಮಾಡಿದೆ, ಒಂದು 500 ಆಟೋಗಳಿಗೆ ಇದನ್ನು ಲ್ಯಾಮಿನೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿಸಿ ಹಾಕಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಸರ್. ಅದರಿಂದ ತುಂಬ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ರೆಸ್ಪಾನ್ಸ್ ಬರ್ತಾಯಿದೆ. ತುಂಬ ಜನ ಕಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾಯಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ನೀವು ಡೈಲಿ ವ್ಲಾಗನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಸಬ್ಟೈಟಲ್ಸ್ ಹಾಕಿ ಇಂಗ್ಲೀಷಲ್ಲಿ ಬರೆದು ಹಾಕಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅದನ್ನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಸರ್ ಇನ್ಮೇಲೆ.
ಸೊ ಇವಾಗ ನೀವು ಆ್ಯಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಇವಾಗ ಎಷ್ಟು ಆಟೋ ಸದ್ಯಕ್ಕೆ ಈ ಥರ ಇಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಬೋರ್ಡ್ಸ್ಗಳನ್ನ, ಆಟೋ ಕನ್ನಡಿಗ ಪೋಸ್ಟರ್ಸ್ನ ನೀಟಾಗಿ ಈ ಥರ ತಿಳಿಸ್ಕೊಡೋ ರೀತಿಲಿ?
700 ಆಟೋಗಳಿಗೆ ಹಾಕಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಇವಾಗ ಸದ್ಯಕ್ಕೆ. ಇನ್ನೂ 300 ಇದ್ದಾವೆ, ಹಾಕಬೇಕು. ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಟೈಮ್ ಇಲ್ಲ ನನಗೆ, ಅದು ಹಾಕಬೇಕಲ್ಲ. ಇವಾಗ 700 ಆಟೋ. ಇದ್ರ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಅಭಿಯಾನ ಕೂಡ ಮಾಡ್ತಾಯಿದ್ದೀವಿ, ಲರ್ನ್ ಕನ್ನಡ ವಿತ್ ಕ್ಯಾಬ್ ಕನ್ನಡಿಗ ಅಂತ. ಕ್ಯಾಬ್ಗಳಿಗೂ ಹಾಕ್ತಾಯಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ಅದು ನಮ್ಮ ಗೆಳೆಯರಾದ RASP ಅವರು ಸಂಪೂರ್ಣ ಜವಾಬ್ದಾರಿ ತೊಗೊಂಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಎಲ್ಲ ಕ್ಯಾಬ್ಗಳಲ್ಲೂ ಇವಾಗ ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ 1,000 ಕ್ಯಾಬ್ಗಳಿಗೆ ಅದನ್ನು ಹಾಕಿದ್ದೀವಿ.
So yes, that is Azzu Sultan Auto Kannadiga. It's a simple, a humble effort from a common Kannadiga. While authors, massive literators of the Kannada language, activists of the Kannada language have fought for Kannada to spread, Kannada's wings to spread, and for the common Kannadigas and non-Kannadigas to learn the language well, a simple initiative from an auto driver has gone viral and has won much plaudits all over the internet, and all netizens and citizens equally commending it. This is one such simple initiative of helping spread the language, helping spread the love for the language. With camera person Riyaz, Sudat Bharadwaj for CNN News 18.
All right, so next time you're in Bengaluru, please look out for Azu Sultan and let us know what you felt about it. And here's also hoping to start a similar initiative in Mumbai. Would love to have Marathi on wheels going out in all the Kali Pilis here. Great initiative that could be started. But if those wheels are not your thing, if a Mercedes-Benz is on your mind, we've got a story for you as well. Well, the 2025 Mercedes-Benz E-Class has just gotten a whole lot longer and better. We take a closer look at the long wheelbase version, putting its comfort, style and cutting-edge tech to the test.
So plush interiors and effortless performance. But does this sedan set a new standard? Is it worth going out and buying if you can afford it? Let's take a ride with Overdrive's in-depth review to understand what their verdict is. This is, of course, of the Mercedes-Benz E-Class E200 LWB. Take a look.
We are in that era of the Indian luxury car market where long wheelbase cars could become as common as smartphones. And here is Mercedes-Benz flexing its Germanic muscles with the new E-Class. Like the outgoing W213, the new W214 long wheelbase is again exclusive to India in its right-hand drive avatar. It's here to remind you of two things. One, it kick-started the long wheelbase trend. And two, in this space, size does matter, especially when you're going to be chauffeured around. Even if you were to squint, you will not mistake this to be its regal cousin, the S-Class, because you see there's this nice kink in the headlights, which also makes sure that the E-Class looks nothing like the rest of its stablemates. Then you have the longer wheelbase, 15 millimeters longer now for a total of 3094. Still not as long as the standard wheelbase of the S-Class, but longer than the outgoing car. Then you also get these flush door handles. These, along with this quarter glass, which unlike the global E-Class where it sits on the door, here it sits on the bodywork. So all of this comes together to make the new E-Class feel like a younger S-Class than a grown-up C. It looks every bit a stately limo, and despite rolling on 18-inch wheels, its proportions somehow still appear graceful. You also get the three-pointed stars in the grille, which is okay, but I think they've gotten a bit too carried away with it. Those stars have even popped up in the tail lights. I mean, what's the need for that? It's a bit too shouty. What's next? Put these three-pointed stars on the tires as well? Because after all, the market wants more bling. But still, the E-Class continues in the tradition of brewing an understated elegance. A kind of quiet confidence that whispers, "I have arrived," without needing to shout it. It appears even more elegant and poised in the lighter colors. And for those looking at the 200 badge on the boot, don't be fooled into thinking you're driving the entry-level afterthought. The E200 zips along quite happily, feeling sprightly rather than sluggish, and even the exhaust note piped through the speakers adds a touch of sportiness. Of course, that engine may not have the brawn of its bigger siblings, but it won't leave you bored either. And that exhaust note being amplified through the speakers, I think it's a nice touch considering how silent this cabin can get. Oh, and speaking of the cabin, the ambient lighting sort of creates a lasso around all the seats. It goes from behind the rear seats as well, and that makes for a very nice lounge-like experience. But as you would expect with the E-long wheelbase, the real party piece is of course the rear seats. So you can also extend the under-thigh support by about 40 millimeters, which is a good touch. You can also recline the seats. Of course, it's not the first class seating like you experience with the S-Class or even the EQS for that matter. But then again, this is a proper business class vibe that Mercedes-Benz is going with. Honestly, the only thing missing is the in-flight meal. But there's also no 3-pin plug to charge your old school gadgets. But for all your newfangled tech, there are enough USB-C ports in here. There's a wireless charger. So all your new age phablets, laptops, they should be fine.
All right, next we bring you a special segment of the financial markets powered by Money Control Pro, Money Control's premium destination for investing and business insights. Let's start with the markets and how they're reacting to a new president in the United States. US markets closed higher last evening as investors cheered a second Trump presidency, while India's markets rose yesterday. Gift Nifty signaling a weak opening today. Japan, Indonesia, South Korea have opened lower as well. Crude oil prices are up, but gold is down. And the US Fed rate decision and bets on what Trump might do as US president are likely to occupy investor attention today.
Let's keep the focus now on one sector in particular. Let's look at health insurance. It's emerged as the fastest growing market post-pandemic, driven by demand from individuals. While growth is likely to be healthy, will profitability of standalone health insurance companies improve? That's the key question for investors. Potential regulatory changes such as a composite license for insurers can pose a challenge, but structural growth drivers are very much intact. And you can log into Money Control Pro to find out more about this sector, the health insurance sector, and various other actionable insights on the markets. It's of course the premier destination for all investing views and financial insights that you're ever going to need. It's brought to you by Money Control.
All right, it's a wrap on today's edition. We'll see you tomorrow again, where we'll talk about all things vlogging.
Have a lovely, lovely day. See you tomorrow.
Well, I want to thank you all very much. This is great. These are our friends. We have thousands of friends on this incredible movement. This was a movement like nobody's ever seen before. And frankly, this was, I believe, the greatest political movement of all time. There's never been anything like this in this country, and maybe beyond. And now it's going to reach a new level of importance because we're going to help our country heal. We're going to help our country heal. We have a country that needs help, and it needs help very badly. We're going to fix our borders. We're going to fix everything about our country. And we made history for a reason tonight, and the reason is going to be just that. We overcame obstacles that nobody thought possible, and it is now clear that we've achieved the most incredible political thing. Look what happened. Is this crazy? But it's a political victory that our country has never seen before, nothing like this. I want to thank the American people for the extraordinary honor of being elected your 47th president and your 40